I'm your host, Kristina Walsh. Joining me today in the Surf Lab is Lindy Cowling from the UK, and we compare notes all the time about energy and kind of what's going on in our universes and the folks that we assist through readings and healings and stuff. And so what is remarkable is that I can be all the way in San Francisco and you can be all the way in the UK, and things are the same. So, Lindy, tell me about your surreal week.
I think things are so crazy at the moment that myself and everybody that I'm surrounded by is saying that we seem to be having about 50 years in old time life experience packed into 1 week. I just think we're evolving at such a rate now that our physical bodies literally can't keep up with it. So the energy is moving so fast. Time is moving so fast. Before you blink, 2013 will be over with, and it's got to surely have been the fastest year on record, measurable. It's just mad, really. But there's just so much happening, and you know what? When I say physical body can't keep up, but nor can the mental body really. It's as if, last week, speaking for myself personally, but a lot of my clients and a lot of people that I'm mixing with are saying the same thing, that you feel like a completely different person, today than you feel last week, and then next week you'll feel different again, because everything that you thought was real, I guess your belief systems, your stability, it's just all going out the window, and it's changing so fast that your boundaries and your parameters and your perception, it's just changing all the time. So it's crazy, and I can speak on this, as working as a medium clairvoyant, but also as the therapist, and in multidimensionality in the past lives and the future lives and the hypnotherapy, but also on a personal front. And as someone that has had experience of the dynamics of the twin flame union and every single element that has brought with it, extraordinary elements as well, dark as well as light, things are changing so quickly. And, 2 weeks ago I wouldn't be talking this way, but I've had another 50 years experience in two years, like everybody else again. So it's kind of madness. It's the best thing I can say is what I'm learning, and I guess you could say the same, is just whatever the chaos is whirling around you, it's like the eye of the storm. You just have to keep going back into the center of yourself and have to keep going back into your heart, to kind of get that balance, to get that kind of state of equilibrium again, because there is just so much physically changing, that's the only way that you can get some stability, really, I think.
Yeah, I think the energy is pointing us to go deep within ourselves, and basically you've got to start loving yourself and then come back out into the external world.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how often just in the last 5 days, I can't really go backwards more than that lately, but just in the last 5 days, how much there's that other thinking that we used to do that doesn't really apply anymore, and it kind of hurts. Like it's like, oh, I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be thinking these thoughts. I want to go back to where I am, deep within myself, regroup, and then come back out. And so I think this used to happen over a longer period of time. Let's say, months. We would do this over months, or maybe we would do this over weeks in 2011. 2012, maybe it's a couple of days, and now it's just a couple times a day that you go back into yourself and kind of come back out again. And it's almost finding that love for yourself, and I'm not sure that that's all that it is. I think it's more than that. I just don't have the words for it. So love plus deep within ourselves. It's like you want to bring that out into the world, and when you find things sort of not going your way, and the ego's not helping out anymore, thanks ego. you're the what I thought I could count on, but
thanks
forget
a bunch,
it.
ego.
Yeah, because competition feels weird now. I don't know what that is. I don't know how I can use it now. I'd like to, because maybe that'll help, but it won't. I know it won't. And so competition's cut out the window. I think going back to yourself, bringing it out into the world and letting your light out, or whatever that love plus thing is, that feels better, but I still don't know what I'm doing. It's like you and I have taken the classes. We've counseled thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and yet we can still find ourselves twisted into a pretzel. Okay, so in the surf lab, what would you play with right now? What energies?
I'd tell you the energy that I would play with right now, and that has to be the energy of love, because you have to, at this point, well, I guess it was always, but more than ever, at this point of time, you have to do this descending. You have to descend to ascend, which is like you were saying, you have to be going inwards. And I think so many of us at the moment, our physical lives and the extraordinary challenges in some of our physical lives are almost designed, if you like. We designed it on a soul level, and the universe designed it to drive us inwards, because if your boundaries are changing all the time, if your idea of security is changing all the time, if your physical life is changing, you are forced at that point to be driven inwards, to go inwards, to look at what your true resources and your true spirit is about. Like I say, you have to descend to do this ascending. And what you were talking about earlier, about that love plus thing, the love that you have that's inside in the heart, that is the true love, and that's the only love that can expand, and the only love that you can use that energy to create from, to change your physical world. So more than anything, I mean, always through human history, love has been the most important thing, but now more than ever, we're being called upon to go back into that state. I have to say, had you spoke to me even 3 or 4 weeks ago, my whole perception on the twin flame union and the template of love has altered dramatically just in 4 weeks. And this is something I've been talking about for 2.5, 3 years on the radio.
Yeah.
So I have to say that I was going to say again, there are kind of lots and lots of positive and negative interest in that template flying around at the moment, and I think it's more than ever more important now for people really to I'm going to use the word discerning, and use their own discernment, and to literally, it's as corny as it sounds, follow their heart. Really, they've got to follow their heart. They've got to, whatever is going on around them and whatever other input is being given to them, they have to use that gut feeling and their intuition, and go back into that on sort of every decision they make, really. But, once they go into that state, and once they get back into the heart, they have that access then to the energy of creation, and, you can go from there.
Yeah, I think I have discovered a couple of other pieces floating around in that twin flame template.
Yes.
Is that, a long time ago we were really into soulmates and having this connection with someone else. And what we were looking at, I think, as a human beingness around the globe, was that we could actually have a connection with another human being and they would get it. But it didn't really have a lot to do with creation and forming new universes and all sorts of other wild stuff. Like maybe you would have shared dreams, and that sort of soulmate idea. But then as this sort of twin flame idea sort of got unleashed on the planet, it's something that's a vibration within the human body, mind, spirit, that every human has.
Yeah.
So I think for someone who's sort of working their space or looking at meditation all the time, or new healing modalities, they're in that space of sort of discovering that twin flame vibration within themselves, and how could they be a part of that type of union with someone else. And so along the way, here comes somebody else with maybe their ideas about what love is and their belief system, and they pour that into their twin flame template. And when all of these sort of things get mixed together, it kind of becomes really messy. And I don't think we all know what we're doing in this space. I'd like to say I know it, I understand it, but I think because every human can open this up within themselves, it sort of unleashes a lot of other areas of their spiritual dynamic that hasn't had a lot of attention, and it can unleash power they never knew they wanted to use, and power over others, and it can unleash, ways of being that they want to sort of impart to others, and sort of this thing starts, and it's hard to explain, where we start locking down this vibration that we just found, like we want to unleash and, love the world, and yay, I'm in my twin flame vibration, I'm sharing it with someone else, but they have a different idea. They want to, take over the world and control everyone, and it's like, what? You would do that with your twin flame vibration? And it's insanity. But at the same time, you can go back to yourself. You don't have to give up your twin flame vibration just because somebody else decided to use theirs differently. It is an energy like any other of the multitude of energies that are within ourselves. I did power differently. I'm still doing power differently. I did it in other areas of my life. But, it's not going to show up in my twin flame
I think you've made some.
Yeah,
what you've made there is absolutely brilliant and absolutely valid points there, because I've come across this personally where this is, I think, we touched on this at Christmas in 2012 and again earlier in the spring of this year when I said, my personal involvement, I'd seen this mirrored out and played out, quite shockingly, where you have this huge mirroring, but you have this decision on the level of the soul that has to be made as whether you, how can I put it, whether you buy into and get immersed into and get distracted into this control program and this mechanism of manipulation and control and judgment and all the old belief systems, or whether you and a very, very restricted kind of love, very, very restricted, that's all in the mind, really, very little to do with the heart at all, or whether you allow yourself to expand and go into that love that comes from the heart, which is an inclusive kind of love where everybody is included in that. It's not an exclusive one where it's just between the two people involved. So there was this choice to make, whether you go into the heart and you go into this expanding vibration, which keeps evolving very, very quickly, or whether you go into this other program. And I think where the I word that as if it's a sort of choice. On the level of the soul, it is a choice, I guess. But
I think we are looking at humans getting in touch with this sort of twin flame vibration that's always been there within themselves. And then we're noticing that we can change what that means to us.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually have the belief system like a religion or a workspace or a work ethic, I guess I'm trying to say. Or if you say the word marriage, that means something, a belief system is behind that word, right?
Yeah.
But when you say twin flame, there's a template. There's something sort of floating around there, maybe some tampering, maybe a lot of tampering. And then there's the human part of that that's like, wait a minute, in my twin flame union, I'm totally free. I could do whatever I want. And so you'll find these pieces where you can do anything you want with that twin flame template.
Yeah.
And so I think we're getting access to that piece of spirituality that's totally, free and clear of other people's input. We can decide what it means. And that is a different step of freedom that we haven't gotten to on this planet yet. If you look at your money space, if you look at conspiracy theories around kind of the way the world works, you won't find the twin flame pieces come in there yet, although you did do a talk at the Bilderberg Festival in the UK, so that was very brave. And speaking of bravery, you will find that folks that are in this twin flame sort of thing, whatever it is for them, that they are courageous and they will be brave about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another part of this whole vibration is that it's activating other parts of your humanness that are going to serve you in a lot of different ways. And so I personally don't believe that the twin flame union has anything to do with suffering. I think it shows up.
Yeah.
I think it shows up because we've been programmed to be warriors and go to war over different things.
Yeah.
And
the thing is,
that's not necessary anymore.
I mean, the thing is, Kristina, the twin flame union, in its purity, in what's called the bubble love period of it, and I lived this, and it was the most extraordinary, life-changing time of my life. The bubble is when you are both 100% coming from your heart. So it's almost hard to put into words. You have such a state of peace that you could literally cry with joy 24/7. Anyone around you just stops and stares at you open-mouthed and feel full of love, and their eyes well up. You can be like this once you've connected with this vibration of love. And I'm not saying that people can only experience this if that's mirrored back to them by a frequency such as a twin flame. That was my entry point, but that doesn't mean that it's everybody's, because there are other ways, and there are other ways of accessing that space of love, and it's only in the heart, the portal of the heart. But that bubble of you can't sustain that for more than a period of weeks or months, because the frequency is so high when you're living in a physical world that kind of physical life interrupts. And what happens is as your frequency drops, that vibration goes out to the emotional body, the etheric body, the mental body, right into the aura, and all the programs, everything gets pressed upon then. And basically, where you had been living, existing, breathing, functioning, loving, almost like an angel, exuding love. Love I can't even put into words. Love that makes you cry with love. I can't really explain it. It's an angelic kind of love. Suddenly hits the emotional body, which was very much third dimensional, and that presses on every belief system that you have, every program. And in defense of twin flames, the belief systems and the programs for the entire family, the family line, and then when we've done that, humanity's belief system. Really, the twin flame union, that purity of the love, when you're in the heart, there is no suffering, not for anyone, not just the twin flame union. When anybody is coming from their heart, suffering does not exist, because the vibration is so high that you actually don't suffer. And it doesn't matter what you physically have got wrong with you or going on in your life, you don't suffer when you're in that vibration of love. That's why I'm saying you don't need a twin flame with you to have that. That was just, it's any catalyst that will get you into your heart. And the true twin flame unions are not supposed to be carnage and suffering. Yes, let's be real here for someone that's experienced it. And again, what I'm getting reported back to me, when your belief system's oppressed and your emotional body, that's going to bring stuff up. But it's bringing up old programs that need clearing and things. And this is where the confusion is. You've touched on a brilliant point here. This is where the confusion is, because it's mostly women. I think I've had a few men contact me that are twins, but mostly women contact me, and they are on the end of, they think, and some of them truly are, but some of them maybe not, of real twin flame connections where they are in extraordinary, complicated circumstances. And a lot of the twin flame unions are, mine was as well. And these people are on the end of extremes amount of extraordinarily difficult circumstances or behaviour, and they are tolerating things that they would never normally tolerate, in the belief that this is my twin, so therefore I must do this, I must tolerate, and it will all come good in the end. And what I would say to anyone, not just the twin flame union, but anyone in any circumstances, is that you really do have to, I'm going to use the word again, be discerning, and you have to look to yourself, take it inward again, look to yourself and go into your heart, and is this really serving me, and is this really serving anybody, and is this really making me feel healthy? Because it's extraordinary, and I have to conclude myself in the category of someone who has been into spirituality all my life and brought up with it and working in it for about 15 years now, But even me, I'm still a human being, and I've still gone through an enormous amount of, I have to use the word, suffering, actually. Suffering, I have to be honest. Suffering with it. And, if anybody asked me why would I have stayed involved in something that was causing that much suffering, I would say to you that when you're involved in it, it's so intense, so immense, so strong, so addictive, so powerful. It's almost like, you're like a runaway train, certain elements of it, and certain, of the negative elements of it. So, if I hadn't experienced it, I wouldn't have realized that, it's still coming out, and I'm still learning, like we all are, every day of the week. New knowledge is coming forward about this. New wisdom is coming forward about this. I know we haven't got it all yet. It's like we've got 2/3 of the bit of the puzzle and not the rest yet. There is more knowledge coming out of this, but what I can tell you is that the purity in the soul of all of us is real. That childlike purity is real. It's beautiful. It feels like you love everybody. I mean, you have so much love pouring from you, and it's that level of love from the heart again, not that you're in love with them in your head. It's that heart love. A true twin flame comes in for a much more complicated, bigger picture than that. They're here to hold that template, to hold that frequency. And they are, much more than the romantic belief system. That's a belief system again, actually. The romantic belief system, although there is immense love and joy in it as well, because it's a fifth dimensional vibration, and going into the heart is fifth dimensional for all of us, so...
Mm-hmm. There's the eternal part of all of that.
Absolutely. Like, nothing now is ever it can stop it. Nothing. I mean, and that fills me with joy, because we've sailed through ascension. We've done it. Anyone who says, oh, well, we haven't made it yet. Actually, we have. It's a done deal. It's in the templates, in the vibrations, we're all building on it. This is why we're all having these changes going on. We're all being forced to go inward. It's in now, and the years ahead, the months and the years ahead now are going to be different, because this vibration going out now means people will connect with these higher soul connections now. It will be normal. They won't be called twin flames, because it won't be twin flames. They'll probably find another name for it that we haven't even got yet. But you and I, soulmates is old hat now. That's kind of almost too low now. I don't want to call it that. It'll be a new name. Humanity, they love to have labels for things. They'll find a new name for it. But for now, we'll call it a new vibration of connection, where you are connecting with someone from the heart. It's a heart connection. And when you connect with someone from the heart, oh my God! I mean, it's just fantastic. It's amazing. It's amazing. The whole way you experience life, not just look at it. You vibrate differently. You experience life differently. You can create. It's a whole different ball game. And the children that have been born now and that are around now, these are all going to come up, and that's the norm for them. They won't have to go through, in a way, what we did, third dimensional connections, third dimensional relationships. It will be connections from the heart, this high level of love, which is beautiful. And if I've had one tiny part, and any of us have had one part in our generation, of just through what we've been trying to do and our experiences in being part of laying down that foundation for them, then, we did our job, didn't we? We all did our job there. So, it's fantastic, really. It's fantastic.
Well, thanks so much, Lindy, for giving us the scoop. And we're going to play around a little bit more in the Surf Lab. And you folks out there in twin flame relationships or just exploring this field, good luck. Use your bravery. Use your courage. Things are going to come out of this. And you can contact Lindy at lindycowling.co.uk. And I'm at KristiWalsh.com. So thank you so much for surfing the psychic waves with us today.
Thank you.